We got a message for you from Darius. Rest in pieces!
Dark Turtles Explained, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Terry and this is Marvelous Videos. In every Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, we've seen that the Turtles have an equally matched enemy.
Knock, knock! Wanna play?
Well, in the 2003 series, we have the Turtles being pitted against the most horrific group of villains who are quite possibly their worst nightmare. This version ended up being darker than the previous iteration, so it's only fair that we get to see more powerful enemies.
Yeah, even I could have told you this was a bad idea, and I'm the special one.
The Dark Turtles are four brothers who are capable of terrifying you just by their looks. They're very similar to the Ninja Turtles in many ways and have often pushed them to the edge of losing a battle. Now, you must be wondering where these evil brothers came from and what their vendetta is against the Turtles.
We discussed this, you moron!
I'm a moron. I ain't the sucker who called this stupid attack.
Well, we'll answer all your questions in this video as we explore everything about the Dark Turtles from their origin to their in-depth analysis. So, without further delay, let's dive right into the video. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Now, let's begin.
What the shell are you guys? You might say we are your brothers.
Origin of the Dark Turtles. In the 2003 animated cartoon series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we first meet the Dark Turtles in Season 6, Episode 12, which was released in December 2006. The episode is entitled Bad Blood, which was directed by Roy Burdine and written by Roland Gonzalez. Let's take a look at what happens in this episode. The story begins with the four turtles, Donatello, Leonardo, Michelangelo and Raphael, heading for practice along with Cody Jones, who is a descendant of April O'Neil and Casey Jones, the human allies of the Turtles. Cody is interrupted as his uncle Darius calls him via the holovid, a hologram projector. Darius Dunn considers Cody his favorite nephew and gets annoyed because he feels he's losing his grip on Cody due to the Turtles.
I'm losing my grip on Cody because of those blasted turtles!
At Darius's house, he's suddenly contacted by an unknown alien force. He goes by the name Shocker Narbo and tells Darius that the two have mutual interests when it comes to destroying the four turtles. As it turns out, Shocker Narbo has created four enhanced replicas of the four turtles using his alien technology of cloning species. He has successfully developed these super clones and duplicated the physical as well as psychological aspects of the four original turtles.
Beyond that of your own, duplicate subjects physically as well as psychically.
These four super clones are specifically equipped to dispose of the original turtles and are known as the Dark Turtles. Shocker Narbo offers his creation to Darius for an encounter with the turtles. And if the Dark Turtles prove to be valuable, Shocker Narbo asks for some money in exchange for their use. Over at the Turtles' penthouse, Cody is training on the rooftop with Donatello along with Master Splinter. Uncle Darius visits the penthouse where he is met by Serling, Cody's robot butler, and guardian from the future. He then pretends to make a phone call just when the Turtles arrive in order to make them suspicious of his actions.
You hear that? What's that creepo up to now?
His plan works as the Turtles fall into his trap and decide to follow his limo downtown at 9 p.m. As the Turtles pursue Darius in their hover shell, they get hit by a missile and they're forced to eject while the hover shell crashes to the ground. Donatello, Leonardo, Michelangelo and Raphael then follow someone into a building who they think could be responsible for their crash. Soon after, they are greeted by their four evil super clones, the Dark Turtles. They introduce themselves as being cloned from the tissues of the original Turtles. Now, as the Turtles get ready for battle, the Dark Turtles bring out a giant magnetic device that pulls away all of the weapons that the Turtles have.
Anyone else smell a...
The battle begins with a lot of verbal abuse as well as some great punches. The Dark Turtles decide to fight their respective doppelgangers and everyone engages in a one-on-one fight. However, it looks like the Dark Turtles have the upper hand because they are using their weapons and are also bigger in size. The Dark Turtles manage to defeat the original Turtles by knocking them unconscious and then destroying their wrist gauntlets before kidnapping them. At the penthouse, Master Splinter and Cody begin to get suspicious because the Turtles have been gone for several hours, which is quite unlike them. When Cody tries to track them down, he is only able to receive signals from Michelangelo's trackers. So, Cody, Master Splinter and Serling head towards the location to gather more information about the whereabouts of the Turtles. After reaching the battle site, Cody uses his O'Neill nanotech device to look for more clues. However, the only clue they find are seawater and sewage.
Cody!
The team is then attacked by a giant alien frog who tries to devour Cody, but Master Splinter saves him. As Master Splinter fights the alien, Cody searches the city's sewer system through his wrist computer and finally finds the location of the turtles. However, the place is soon raided by the police, so Master Splinter stays back to deal with them and Cody goes in search of the turtles. He enters the sewer system where he hears the Dark Turtles talking about sending Donatello's body for science. Cody then follows the 4 super clones and spots the turtles who are handcuffed to the wall. He frees them, but the Dark Turtles arrive and capture Cody. However, Cody uses his ninja training and smoke bombs to get away from the Dark Turtles. This gives the original Turtles enough time to get ready for the fight.
A weakness? What weakness? Tell me!
Now that the Turtles are reunited with their weapons, they are evenly matched with the Dark Turtles. During the battle, they realize that since the Dark Turtles are made from their tissue cells, they must have the same weaknesses. So the Turtles use this to their advantage and the tables are turned, because the Dark Turtles lack intelligence. The bad guys soon realize that they're no match for the real Turtles, so they release a bomb that causes a cave-in which allows them to escape successfully. As the battle ends, the Turtles decide to confront Darius since they believe that he was the one who led them to the trap when the Dark Turtles first attacked. However, when Cody confronts his uncle about being downtown at the same time the Turtles were attacked, he shows them that he went there to get a surprise birthday present for Cody, which is an old Justice Force comic book. The episode comes to an end with Darius agreeing to pay the alien Shokunabo his fees, despite the loss of the Dark Turtles, because Darius believes that in battle they're superior compared to the original Turtles.
Au revoir, you dumb behemoth! Not on your life!
Every Dark Turtle on the roster. The 4 Dark Turtles in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles consider themselves to be the evil brothers of the real Turtles. Now let's take an in-depth look at their characters.
No, no, no! Don't waste time with the boy! We discussed this, you moron!
Dark Leo. The character of Dark Leo is voiced by Michael Sinterniklaas. He is the leader of the Dark Turtles and the evil clone of Leonardo. The only visible similarity between the two is that Leonardo wears a blue eye mask and Dark Leo's body is blue in color. We saw earlier that the first battle between the real Turtles and the Dark Turtles was an unfair one, as the weapons of the real Turtles were taken away from them.
It stinks out here! Too bright! Why didn't you let me rot? Too weak to stomach it when things get...
So, when Leonardo came face to face with Dark Leo, he accused him of not being a true clone as he had no honor or values. To this, Dark Leo proudly stated that he has a lot in common with Leonardo, but he has no interest in having honor or a moral code. This suggests that even though Shokunabo created him using Leonardo's tissue cells, Dark Leo still lacks the ethics and personality of Leonardo. However, when it comes to fighting styles, Dark Leo knows all of Leonardo's moves and beats him in the first battle by using his own tricks against him. The weapons that he usually carries are a giant katana and a twin-bladed short sword. His sword fighting is on par with Leonardo's, and that's why he's able to defend himself against all of Leonardo's attacks. He also possesses the same level of dedication towards anything that he's expected to do, just like Leonardo. When he has to fight the Turtles, he doesn't waste time on idle chit-chat and is quick to throw the first punch. Now, despite being an evil killing machine, Dark Leo has shown signs of redemption, which we'll discuss later in the video.
Oh, you won't be needing those.
Dark Don. The character of Dark Don is voiced by Sam Riegel. He's the evil clone of Donatello and is also known as Brain Boy. He has a lot of similarities with Donatello, including his interest in gadgets and technology. In fact, he's the one who created the Terrapin, the vehicle that the Dark Turtles use. He also made the rest of the gadgets that we see the Dark Turtles using during their fights, like the giant magnet that zapped the weapons of the original Turtles and the smoke bombs. However, when he fights his doppelganger Donatello, he doesn't use any weapons like his brothers. He likes to take the analytical approach in his fights and relies heavily on his brain power to figure out the patterns of his opponents. He then uses his metal wrist guards to block the attacks of his opponent and uses his muscle power to counterattack. Dark Don is also the only Dark Turtle who has a tail, and a long one at that. He uses it as a weapon to surprise his enemies. He fights comparatively better than his brothers since he relies more on battle tactics than weapons. Dark Don is the most intelligent and smartest of the Dark Turtles, although he often acts the complete opposite as he constantly argues with their leader Dark Leo and also gets into silly fights with his brothers for food. Despite the fact that his brothers resemble their respective doppelgangers, Dark Don looks almost nothing like Donatello.
Enough jibber jabber! Which one of you suckers is Raphael?
Dark Raph. The character of Dark Raph is voiced by Greg Abbey, who also goes by the name Frank Frankson. He's the evil clone of Raphael, and just like his counterpart, gets easily offended by small things like someone making a comment on his appearance or intellect and acts out in a rage. Just like Raphael, Dark Raph is also very hot-headed and short-tempered. The weapons that he usually carries are twin talon knucklers. The only visible similarity between Raphael and Dark Raph is that Raphael wears a red eye mask and Dark Raph's body is red in colour. He's the only Dark Turtle who has the most in common with his doppelganger, including their fighting styles, personalities, as well as a lack of common sense. However, Raphael is obviously more astute compared to Dark Raph. As Raphael is aware of his own weaknesses, he's able to use that knowledge to his advantage in the battle against Dark Raph. On the other hand, Dark Raph lacks the emotional intelligence to comprehend his thoughts and easily gets his pride hurt when Raphael tells him that he has bad breath. In fact, Dark Raph looks deadlier than he actually is. He doesn't deal well with criticism and doesn't know how to hide his weaknesses from his enemies because he simply believes he has none. This superiority complex often backfires on him in battles, as the turtles have figured out his weak spot and almost always manage to defeat Dark Raph. He also has an affection for annoying his enemies with his words and horrible grammar, due to which people often call him Psycho.
Cloned from your tissues, but with lots and lots of issues.
Dark Mike. The character of Dark Mike is voiced by Wayne Grayson. He's the evil clone of Michelangelo, but he's actually quite different from him. Michelangelo loves the Justice Force comic book series, whereas Dark Mike seems to hate it and tells Michelangelo that book sucked eggs. Through this encounter, Dark Mike quickly figures out what the weak spot of Michelangelo is, as Mikey totally flipped when Dark Mike insulted Justice Force. Dark Mike is always seen carrying double-bladed clubs and a triple-headed whip mace during battles. Another fighting advantage Dark Mike possesses is his 2-foot-long tongue, with which he can grab anything he wants. Just like Dark Don's unique tail, the extremely long tongue is Dark Mike's distinguishing feature. His body is also different from the colour of Michelangelo's eye mask, as that is orange, and his skin colour is yellow. Dark Mike shares a lot of weaknesses with Michelangelo, as both are very gullible and they can easily be tricked. His personality is like the psychotic version of Michelangelo, as he tends to talk a lot, laughs hysterically for no reason, and is constantly jumping around. He is the most hyperactive among the Dark Turtles and often lies to them and hides food.
They were all awake. What happened to the plan?
I don't know. I did my job, you mooks.
The amazing story of Dark Leo showing his humane side. In the 23rd episode of Season 6, we see a different side of Dark Leo that you wouldn't expect from a Dark Turtle. Let's take a look at what happens in this episode entitled DNA is Thicker Than Water.
You don't understand anything about me, but it doesn't matter. I'm just a monster.
The story begins with a look at Dark Mike, who seems to have hidden some food from his brothers underneath the floorboards. When he goes to retrieve it, the other Dark Turtles find him and start fighting over the food. Their quarrel is soon interrupted by the arrival of their new employer, Uncle Darius. He calls the Dark Turtles genetic mishaps and yells at them. When Dark Raph talks back to Darius and tries to land a blow on him, Darius uses his battlesuit to stop him hypnotically. So it looks like the Dark Turtles can never hurt Darius Dunn. He then orders them to annihilate the Turtles immediately and leaves the planning to them.
You will annihilate the turtles immediately! Now get out of my sight!
Dark Leo, as the leader, promises himself that he will deliver the heads of the Turtles on a platter and tells his brothers that if they can't beat them, they might as well join them. Meanwhile, at the Turtles' penthouse, the Turtles are training with Master Splinter and Cody when the penthouse's auto-defenses and alarms go off. They rush to the rooftop and spot the Terrapin. As it turns out, the Dark Turtles have chosen to attack the original Turtles in broad daylight. Now, in the middle of the fight, the Dark Turtles appear to be having a disagreement regarding their current plan. Dark Raph then sees that Cody is defenseless, so he tries to attack him, but Dark Leo yells at him for going after the boy, as that would be a waste of time. Soon after, Dark Don is flying the Terrapin and makes Cody his target. He shoots a laser beam at him. The Turtles are too far away to save him, and immediately Dark Leo leaps in front of Cody and takes the blast in the chest. He lies unconscious on the ground, and the 3 Dark Turtles escape in the Terrapin, leaving Dark Leo behind.
I don't think he's gonna make it. Get his weapons.
It looks like Dark Leo's injuries are fatal, so the Turtles decide to take him inside the penthouse and give him the medical attention he requires. They place him inside a portable force field so that when he wakes up he won't be able to break free. After a week, Dark Leo finally wakes up and the Turtles get some food for him. But Dark Leo believes that if they were his brothers, they would have poisoned his food, so he refuses to eat. After some time, Cody asks Dark Leo why he saved him. Dark Leo seems unable to answer, but ends up saying that his fight is with the turtles and not Cody, so attacking him doesn't feel right. Cody then goes to the turtles and suggests that maybe they can help Dark Leo to overcome the evil in him, since he clearly seems to be going through some inner struggle. The turtles then decide to treat Dark Leo less like a monster and more like a regular guy. They let him sit with them for lunch, but Dark Leo ends up eating everyone's share of food from the table. He tells them that wherever he lives, they have to fight for food and eat whatever they get, or else they'd starve.
You're the dumb one, right? Because that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. And yet...
So Michelangelo and Leonardo tell him that at the penthouse they look out for each other and share things. So Dark Leo spits out the food that is in his mouth and offers it to Leonardo. Now that's not what you'd expect from the evil clone who was created to kill the turtles. After they send Dark Leo back to another room, Raphael states his suspicions about Dark Leo's true intentions and reminds everyone that he is evil. We then see Dark Leo smirking and laughing as he hears this. So it looks like tricking the turtles into believing that he is turning over a new leaf has been his plan all along. After some time, Dark Leo and Raphael end up having a heated argument. Later, Leonardo visits Dark Leo and tells him a story about the scorpion and the frog. The scorpion needed to cross a stream, so he asked the frog to carry him across on his back, but the frog was afraid because the scorpion could sting him. The scorpion promised that he wouldn't, as they'd both die, so the frog carried the scorpion on his back, but halfway across the stream the frog felt a burning pain in his back. The scorpion had stung him, and as a result, both the frog and the scorpion began to sink. When the frog asked why he stung him, the scorpion replied that he did it because it was just in his nature. Leonardo told Dark Leo this story hoping that it might change his mind and make him a good turtle. Leonardo then tells him that he now has two choices. Either he can leave the custody of the Peacekeepers, or he can stay with the turtles. While Leonardo is leaving the room, he ends up dropping the remote that locks Dark Leo in the force field. Now, as any villain would do, Dark Leo unlocks the force field and immediately notifies the other Dark Turtles to attack the turtles at night.
It's on. Tonight.
When the Dark Turtles arrive, Dark Leo tries to shut down the security failsafe, but finds himself unable to do so. Just then, Leonardo comes and tells Dark Leo that he purposely dropped the remote to test him. He again gives Dark Leo a chance to step away and go back. At first, Dark Leo seems confused, but then yells that he's a scorpion and destroys the security failsafe. When the other Dark Turtles arrive at the penthouse, the original Turtles, Master Splinter, Serling and Cody are already waiting for them. As they engage in a fight, Dark Leo battles Leonardo alone and realizes that he failed the test. The Dark Turtles then retreat in their terrapin, having failed miserably in their plan to make a surprise attack on the turtles.
So you came back, stinking of failure again. Why am I not surprised?
The episode comes to an end as Darius throws a piece of meat at Dark Leo and asks him to choke on it as he failed once again. Dark Leo surprises everyone as he picks up the meat, tears it into 4 equal parts, and shares it with his brothers. So it looks like Leonardo did manage to get through to Dark Leo, even if it was just by a small fraction. This change of personality in Dark Leo clearly suggests that if he consciously tries to become a good turtle, he will succeed, despite the way he was created. Trivia time. There are some interesting facts about the Dark Turtles that are going to leave you mesmerized. The story arc in which the Dark Turtles appear is known as Fast Forward. The creators had also thought of an alternate plotline for the second season of Fast Forward, which was entitled Turtles, Turtles Everywhere. In this segment, the Dark Turtles were going to be replaced by beings known as the Tech Turtles. These are 4 robotic turtles based on each of the original turtles, and they were created by Darius Dunn. Darius created the Tech Turtles because the Dark Turtles would be forced to accept the help of the original turtles in order to save their own lives. However, we never got to see this episode because it was never produced, as the second season of Fast Forward had been cancelled.
I'm taking over.
Attention, Circle.
Due to the cancellation of the second season, we also never find out the ultimate fate of the Dark Turtles, but we can assume that they probably never succeeded in defeating the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You might have realized that the evil superclones sound different compared to their counterparts. Well, the actors who voiced the original Turtles are the same ones who also voiced the Dark Turtles. They obviously added more depth and gruffness to their voices to sound like bad guys. The vehicle of the Dark Turtles, which is known as the Terrapin, is actually named after a huge snapping turtle monster that appears in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic books. There are also some similarities between the Dark Turtles and other creatures from different franchises. For example, they're quite similar to the Psycho Rangers from the Power Rangers franchise. Another franchise that comes to mind is Space Jam, which is a hybrid animated sports comedy film. The major antagonists of Space Jam are the Monstars, who were also a group of mutated copycat aliens just like the Dark Turtles. They also share the same skin color as the Dark Turtles. Dark Leo and Blanco are blue, Dark Raph and Nort are red, Dark Don and Bubkus are purple, and Dark Mike and Pound are orange. Special mention, The Dark Turtle from 1987. In the 1987 animated cartoon series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we get a glimpse of a certain Dark Turtle with a twist. Let's find out what happens in episode 14 of season 7, which is entitled Night of the Dark Turtle, written by David Wise. The story begins with the Turtles watching April on TV. Suddenly, Donatello's early warning system alarm goes off in their lair, and after checking, he realizes that there seems to be a strong vibration under the earth. The Turtles immediately suspect that it could be their longtime enemy, Shredder, so they head out to look for him. Meanwhile, at a government research lab, we see Shredder receiving a tiny cylindrical object that he calls the Microblaster from a scientist. Apparently, this Microblaster is such a powerful weapon that it can destroy an entire building with a single blast. However, his two minions, Rocksteady and Bebop, end up damaging the Microblaster. As Shredder is trying to repair it, Donatello's technology brings the Turtles to the lab.
The vibration stopped at that government research lab.
Soon after, they encounter Shredder and engage in a fight. Donatello goes after Shredder while the other Turtles fight his guards. Just then, Shredder pushes Donatello into an electrified machine, which ends up electrocuting him and puts him in a temporary coma. After retreating to their lair, Donnie wakes up while yelling Shredder's name. He immediately tries to head out in pursuit of Shredder, but his brothers stop him. Donnie seems extremely angry and hell-bent on destroying Shredder all by himself, but when everyone asks him to rest, he pretends to go to his room to lie down. He then throws away his purple eye mask and assumes a new identity in order to strike fear into his enemies. He has now dressed himself in a somewhat Batman-like black-coloured costume and calls himself the Dark Turtle. The inspiration for this costume came to him through his comic book, Midnight Avenger. When his brothers ask him if he has lost his mind, Donnie tells them that he is saner than ever. He then throws a smoke bomb at them and leaves in search of Shredder. So it looks like the electrocution had a severe impact on Donatello's mind, and it has altered his personality. When the other three Turtles try to follow him, he pushes them away and makes a quick escape. Now, a group of new enemies arrives in the city in star cruisers from space. They call themselves the Triceratons. It looks like they want to take over the Earth as their empire. The Turtles then head over to Midtown to fight the Triceratons. In the meantime, Donatello, now the Dark Turtle, is successful in finding Shredder's location and easily defeats Rocksteady and Bebop when he encounters them.
Where'd he go?
On the other hand, Leo, Mikey and Raph are trying their best to fight the Triceratons, but they're too powerful. They want to transport the Earth to their Triceraton homeworld, so they begin opening a stargate through which the Earth will be consumed. Back at the government research lab, the Dark Turtle finally comes face to face with Shredder and engages in battle. The other Turtles soon arrive since they need Donatello in order to defeat the Triceratons. The Dark Turtle seems to have the upper hand in the battle as he is just about to destroy Shredder, but his brothers save him. Now, when Michelangelo tries to grab the Dark Turtle, he accidentally falls on an electrical machine and gets electrocuted once again. Shredder, Rocksteady and Bebop quickly escape in the middle of this chaos. When Donnie wakes up, he's surprised to see himself in this strange costume and doesn't seem to remember anything that happened. As it turns out, the second electrocution brought Donnie back to his senses, and he devises a plan with his brothers to stop the Triceratons. Apparently, the Triceratons do not attack a planet where the dominant species are reptiles. So, Donatello makes use of his Dark Turtle costumes, and with the help of the Microblaster that he repaired, he is able to convince the head of the Triceratons that he is the ruler of this planet and the mightiest reptile in the universe. The episode comes to an end as Donatello again yells, "Shredder!" back at the lair. Leo, Mikey and Raph are taken aback, but we soon find out that he's just looking for his electric cheese shredder, since he is dying for a pizza. The group of the Dark Turtles as replicas of the original Turtles really left the fans amazed. After all, they've repeatedly proved to be formidable enemies to the Turtles. While having their own minds, each of the Dark Turtles certainly lacked the emotional maturity of their counterparts, so perhaps that's what made them evil. However, considering Dark Leo's change of behaviour, it's likely that if the Dark Turtles showed sympathy towards their own brothers and a bit of teamwork, they could someday become successful in defeating the original Turtles. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Cloned from your tissues, but with lots and lots of issues.